Alrighty, so we are back with a quick little update on the Android head unit for the Toyota Mark X. So in my last video I said I was going to do a little bit of playing around with the reverse camera and then also figuring out the steering wheel controls. So I haven't been able to figure out how to get it working basically. So what I thought I would do is I will get the factory unit, plug it in and just hold it in my hand and basically play with the steering wheel controls, unplug one cable at a time, which I know isn't the power cables, and basically just take them out until I figured out which cable was responsible for the steering wheel controls. So, steering wheel controls cable is actually this big harness here. So this one here with 3 white cables, mine the little Scotch locks, this was from the factory dash cam that the car came with, also has the antenna attached to it. So these two main plugs are for the power, and then there was this third one. So this third one didn't actually fit into any of these adapters here, so I sort of just left it aside. Turns out that this actually controls the steering wheel buttons. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to tap what I have discovered. There we go. So key 1, there is a key 2 wire here. Not going to worry about it. We're just going to get the key 1. I'm going to tap it into one of these. I'm just going to figure out which one to go for. That'll be fine. I'll show the process of that. And then also figured out the reverse camera. So the reverse camera wire is actually this little one here. So there's 2 slightly thicker cables, and then it has the power and what I assume is ground. So basically I just put the car into reverse and then unplugged each wire individually one by one until I found out which one I unplugged that made the reverse camera turn off. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to end up splicing this and connecting it to the reverse camera connector that is already on the back of here, which is actually, I do have to make sure I get the right one, but I have got the diagram that the seller sent me anyway. It's one of these. So we'll sort that out. That is absolutely fine. So in the meantime, that's the little rundown. We're going to get into it pretty much straight away now that I know what to do. And we're going to figure out the steering wheel controls first. So let me get everything set up and I'll show you guys the process. Alright, so we have actually made some progress with the steering wheel controls. So what I've done, I've been playing around with the key 1 wire into the steering wheel control plug. I've just crimped off the end of it so I have the exposed wire to play with, and I've basically just been putting it into each active slot until I get any key response, to which I've now just received. So the key 1 wire is going into that top right 4 in from the right. It's actually the yellow wire on this harness. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to properly tap this wire into the yellow wire at the back here so it's nice and clean. But that's essentially what we need to do for this Android unit to get the steering wheel controls working. So let's just quickly go home. And we'll go radio, and let's see if this actually works. Do I have to save? Oh, let me just double check this. Okay, so I think we have to now change this back from learning to special. Let me see if this works now. There we go. Look at that. Volume up, volume down. And we'll just double check that the radio button works. Yeah, sick. So now we can change radio stations. Awesome. Well, that's the steering wheel controls done. Hope this is handy for the Mark X guys out there looking to do the steering wheel controls. It's this third harness from the same harness that the power plugs are, and it's the 4th slot in from the top right. So I've just been cleaning this up. So all I've done is I have grabbed one of my many Scotch locks, just like these ones. So I've grabbed the yellow wire from this Mark X harness, which we found was what was operating the buttons. And I've grabbed the key 1 wire from the Android harness, and I have basically tapped those 2 together. So I'm just going to sort of rest this up here for now. Might need 2 hands. Cool. Alright, so that's there. We're just going to turn accessory on. We're not going to turn the car on, we don't really need to. Bang. We've got volume, and we can change channel. Beautiful. Yeah, I'll just quickly show you guys how to actually set up the buttons in the Android Auto. So basically you just find your settings, or the actual car settings itself. On this one, for example, we have steering wheel control type, SWC. So we'll change this to learning, and then that gives us the enter SWC setting interface. And this is where we can choose. So apparently this isn't actually, unless we have to change the resistor type. No. Yeah, so the home button doesn't actually get picked up, but next works, previous works, volume down, volume up. Sweet, as easy as that. All right, so this is now working again. Beautiful. Cool. So that's the steering wheel controls for the Mark X. This is a GRX 133. I can imagine it'd be very similar, if not the same, for the GRX 130 and possibly even older models. If your harness looks the same or even similar, it could be the same harness, maybe just a different color wire, but that little top right wire falling from the left for me, from that steering wheel control plug, was the money. So I hope this helps you guys with your Android Auto head units. Next one I post is me going to be figuring out the reverse camera, which is this little plug here. Just got to figure out how to wire this, whether I tap it in or I follow this back of the car, and then we go from there. So that'll be the next one. Otherwise, in the meantime, take care, guys.